So we keep adding things to these replica RC cars, and I found this company on Facebook that I thought was really cool. They've got all the designs of all the license plates in all the states, so I was able to order a set that looked exactly like my license plates for the van. And Dad has gotten really into minor details on the 34 to make it look like his truck. I was pretty excited that we were able to recreate one of my favorite pictures. We never really did much with remote control cars before, but we're kind of slowly turning into an RC family. Which is pretty cool, because it gives us something to do in the off season, and gives the kids a reason to be outside. Noah's been taking a graphic imaging course at the local vocational school, and he's been doing really well at it. I was extremely excited that I got to go for Parents' Day. The teacher's got a pretty strict no cell phone rule, and I didn't want to feel like I had any sort of special privileges, but it was a really fun time. Once I left the vocational school, I actually had a few hours to go and work on the van and start working on mocking up this standalone fuel system. I figured that the tank was about the right size, but it fits here like the factory wanted it to be there, and I'm pretty sure Dodge did. I've been running with 2 regulators teed off of the main line, which the pump that I have is more than sufficient to work that, but having a standalone tank lets me put 110 race fuel in the small tank, pump gas in the big tank. Each one's got its own regulator, each one's got its own fuel pump. So, in theory, it should be a cost savings, and arguably safer, depending on who you talk to. But it's really nice that the tank, pump, and regulator are going to be so close together. As with any project, as soon as you have all the parts, you find out you need like 10 more parts. So we went down to Summit, picked up a few more fittings that I needed, and then I hauled Dad's hood over to Midtown because he was taking the Charger over there to get painted. He's got some pretty wild plans with the paint job, including some metal flakes and pearls and stencils and honeycombs. It should be pretty cool. Dan sprinkled some flake on the fenders to get an idea of what it was going to look like, and we figured out that the purple definitely pops. This is the same purple metal flake that we use on the small purple trailer, and so we know what it looks like. After a few hours of looking at things and tossing some ideas around, I think they finally settled on what's going to happen.
We're going to mask that off. Put those on here. Mask them off. There you go. So we'll do this. We'll paint it purple. We'll put the flake on it. We'll put the flake on it. Yep. And then after it dries, we'll put this on.
All of this really got more exciting once we finally received our welcome packets for the Piston Power Show. Now, we've been burned a couple times in the past with saying we were entered and then finding out we weren't entered, so I wasn't comfortable until I had these in my hand. And while Dad continues to add to make this thing more realistic, I took the van RC racing for the first time. I've got a whole other video together for this, but I met up with Chris Wise, who built another van that's way nicer than mine, and we had a great time grudge racing them. Another collaboration I'm really excited about this year is my buddy Brian that lives in Akron started doing these mini documentaries of the Akron history of the rubber tire companies, and he came up with this great idea to put together a cruise with some history and some photo ops, so I'm really excited to do that. Brian does a lot of bracket racing down at Magnolia, and even got into the finals at a streetcar race that Matt Rice was putting on down at KD. So we've already locked in a grudge race with him against Dad's Scat Pack.
Right here's a good 8th mile spot.
So I drove down to Akron, and Brian and I spent a Sunday morning driving around, looking at routes and photo ops.
I think having a camera across the street.
Yeah, that is a great shot. It's iconic.
There's a lot of history down here that we want to capture while we can.
Yeah, most of these buildings will probably eventually be torn down. That's the sad thing to say. This is another tire plant. I think it's more or less headquarters now. But that's on the other side of this fence. There's an 8th mile drag strip. Like I said, a circle track. I think there's a couple other things, but we got a test track. Farming equipment back before tires were really a big thing. And this road was named after them, Cyberling. But Frank Cyberling, I think, was his name. So we're here at Triplet Boulevard which is, you know, where the blimp hangar's at. It was originally called Goodyear Aviation. They said you could fit 6 football fields inside here, which is hard to believe. It doesn't look that big. You used to get 40,000 people down here in the 50s.
Huge thing, yeah.
Deal. It's right here off Main. There's the new Firestone over there. And there's the Harvey Firestone statue. Firestone Stadium. Video. That shop, real choppy one I did.
Yeah, I saw it. That was what kind of prompted me to like see the potential and how good this could be.
Here's one of the first buildings right here. All sorts of stuff was made in this building. This brick one here.
I'll put the link to Brian's channel in the description so you can follow along as this takes place. He's got a good group of cars and photographers and drones together, so it should be a pretty cool piece. We wrapped up our cruise outside of Red Dog Garage, the home of the Gramps Suburban that's eagerly waiting to come out this spring for a possible rematch. And then I headed back over to Summit. Once I had the one tank in, I realized that it would really balance the engine compartment out if I had one on the other side. I won't fill it with fuel, I could use it for tools or something, so I ordered that and that should be here pretty soon. You know, everyone's itching for spring and there was some pretty cool stuff out in the parking lot. It won't be long now. So thanks for watching. If you haven't, please subscribe, because we're going to be doing a whole lot more stuff real soon.